Yo, what up? This your main man in the building. Y'all know what it is. It's Corey Espy. And again, sitting next to my beautiful gift from God right here, Mrs. Espy. Excuse me, Miss Shekinah Espy.
Shekinah Espy.
How you doing?
I'm good, Mr.
My little
Espy.
black and knees. My blazing. I call my blazing. Every time she starts to get like this, y'all, look at her eyes. Don't she like a little blazing? I'm black Asian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You still love me, though?
I do. You're really, really pretty.
Oh, thank you, babe.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Try to be sometime. Come on.
Have a good day. Today's a good day.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by refrigerated grapes. My wife makes sure I always have them, and I love them to death. So I definitely enjoy them. You know. So we're back again, doing what we do, talking about what we love to talk about, and that's what?
Us.
Us. On my wife and I. You want to talk about us? What about us?
Let's see. How did we become an us? Our journey.
Oh.
Why did we make our journey so quick?
Got you.
What keeps our journey going?
Well, seeing that we have no life, all we do is grind and stay home. I think it's more of us really, really enjoying each other's company.
We really do.
We do.
We really do.
Like we've been quarantined ourselves. we've quarantined ourselves at this point.
Yeah.
And we really, because let me tell you something. Here's what people don't understand and may not understand. Mm-hmm. The fact that when we removed, what's the word? When we removed relations, we abstained from relations. It allowed us to concentrate on some other tangible things that we found very resourceful for what we were developing. Because remember, this was happening at such a quick pace. In most eyes. But in the development part, it wasn't such a quick thing because in this minute time, because it was a 9-month span. So in that minute time, we were really learning one another, building the skills and comprehension and understanding and what it takes to actually make this work. And we started really working on that. So, like I said, we talked about in the last episode, it just kind of was a thing that happened. And then when we discussed it, we realized, okay, we do have a common goal in this. And it's really to find that niche for us, you know, and what it was going to take to make this work. So my thing, I guess my question to you is, in that, what were some of the things that you had to process to this point and understanding where we was about to go with this? Because it was so fast.
Because it was so fast? I would say definitely was the trust.
Oh, that's dope. And so with saying that, is that coming from a space of some of the stuff you had been through and now we're in this position of where I'm about to make you a bunch of promises. Well, I'm making these promises. What made you trust those promises? Let's get a little deep right there. I'm gonna knock that one down. What made you trust that process?
Your honesty from the beginning.
Okay.
You didn't tell me you didn't make up any kind of lie. You made it to where I was able to trust you quickly. Yeah. You made it to where everything that you said, you did. You were a man of your word. Even if it was something so little. If I would have wrote you 2 hours before and I'm like, yeah, I want a burger, and I know I'm not going to see you for another 4 hours. It's the fact that even with that, you'll stop everything you're doing and go ahead and bring it to me. Even though I could have waited, you built that trust. Me and you built that trust. You made it to where I was comfortable with you, with my heart, my mind, and my soul, and my body. That's a big one. But
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I messed that up. Was there ever a point where you were kind of like, I don't know? Did you ever have a lean back, like, I don't know? You have a moment like that?
You know what? Honestly, I can't say I did.
Really?
I can't say I did. Honestly. Because every time, no matter what, this whole thing, like I said, the whole thing was built up on my faith in God. Like me literally saying the prayer and, telling God, okay, if I'm not married by the time I'm 35, I'm done. Like, I even had a conversation before I met Corey. I had a conversation with my mom, and I was like, look, you about to have a test tube grandbaby. Like, you're going to have to just live with that. I don't know what to do.
Test tube, baby.
I was like, we just going to go down, go to the sperm bank, and we're going to find a baby.
You gonna build your baby.
I was going to build a baby. I was, God, you know what? I didn't need love. But I listened to God, and I listened to him tell me, just give me one more shot. But this time you have to trust me. And this whole thing has been a whole faith journey, because we basically took a whole leap of faith. And that's what I was moving on my faith. Because every time I moved, God showed his hand in it. Every single direction.
Yeah, I know for me, because anybody that knows me, that was, they know I've done a lot. And when it comes to women, or when it came to women in that time frame, I started looking at things, because I always had this thing to where if I felt like I wasn't doing wrong, then I really didn't care about what your feelings had going. Yeah. I can say, and this was the work that I put in. Because I started getting to a point to where, I was like, well, if something has happened, I gotta find a way to make it clear. And I think that sort of started changing my ideology, because most people know, man, when they would say stuff to me, I was like, I don't care what she's thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm not doing it wrong, then I don't need to fix that. She needs to fix that. But I understood that it needed to come with some clarity and some transparency and a level of comprehension for understanding. So that's when I kind of knew, in this spot after we had the conversation, that I knew there was certain skills that I was going to have to make this work. It was certain calls and plays going to maneuver with to say, okay, this what's got to happen when this situation, right. I got to get into this formation when this situation happened. You know what I'm saying? I got to dial up this play to go score in this time. You know what I mean? Yes. I was kind of becoming my own little Patrick Mahomes for the relationship. You know what I mean? I was ego. In the bite. All right. Ready.
It's gonna take me out.
I was saying, because that's essentially what it comes down to. I really believe that now. It's really getting in our playbook, really studying, and really being able to be ready in game time decisions for things, adjustments. We just watched the Super Bowl. Yeah. The Chiefs wasn't doing a great job in the first half. They had to go in, have a conversation. They had to make some halftime adjustments, and they come out and they played a heck of a game. Now, I know a lot of people are ripping and raving about the call, but we just talk about the adjustments. And Patrick was hurt, and he was dealing with things with his ankle, and they just fought through. They just clawed through. They were just going to get to the ultimate goal, and that was to win. And I feel like that's what we've learned to do, because we've been through so much in the last year. We've been through a lot quickly. And people don't understand, just as quick as we got married, just as quick as we started going through stuff. And here's the thing, what people don't know is it just wasn't no stuff that it was about us. It was just all these things around that was happening. We was like, yo, hey, what are y'all doing here? We just got started. Give us some time.
Yeah, that was the craziest part, because it wasn't between me and your relationship. It was the things around us. And nobody wants to go through storms. Nobody wants to deal with that fresh out the gate of marriage. But for us, a lot of the things that we went through, I know made us stronger. And what made the day when we actually got married such a big moment for us, because we both were like, we're here. We're finally at the finish line. Like, we fought so hard to get here. And then even after we got married, we were even had like a moment to breathe and then be excited about it. But then instantly, life was lifing. And only thing we could do was literally bond together, but also keeping God right there at the center of it. Like, I feel like we prayed more. I feel like I prayed more in the last year than I have in my 35 years. But the good thing about it is that that was where I drew my strength.
Come on.
Because there were so many times where I could tell, life was life in him. And of course, even before we were married, just being a fiance, I knew I still had to act on my wife duties and do the main thing that I told him in my vows I was going to do, which was pray for him. And I do that consistently on a daily basis. And I was doing that even before we got married, because even before I met him, I was praying for my husband. So once he did come along, it was like an aha moment.
Yeah.
It was such an aha moment. That's why everything went so smoothly, and how it happened so quick. It wasn't a shock for me that I heard God tell me to buckle up, get ready to take off. And how I saw it was, God has a point that he wanted you to get to. But instead of trusting him and taking his route, I took my own route that had some heartaches and some failures and things that if I would have trusted God and listened to him when he was saying, hey, no, let this go. Let this go. I have something better for you. Follow my path. I could have saved, but in the midst of it, he still got me to where I needed to be. So it's like, okay, you can take your own path, but guess what? In the end, I'm going to still get you where I want you to be in the time that I want you to be there.
Somebody.
You just may have to go through some heartache, but guess what? I'm still going to get you to the destination I want you at. And that showed up so much in the months, even leading up, the 2 months leading up to our engagement. Because you made it to where I knew I could trust you. You were my aha moment. And you were biggest thing, you were so considerate. You were considerate of me. You took my feelings, my thoughts into perspective.
Which is good, because I ain't always been that person. I didn't often consider women's feelings, because I felt like, again, if it was a complaint, that's something that obviously you were dealing with, it wasn't my problem. You need to fix it. But I quickly learned that it was something that I needed to fix for, within the situation to help them get into a place. And that's what I've tried to do in this marriage, or even our relationship beforehand, was just, I tried to make sure things were very clear, concise, very transparent, how I was moving with everything. And I wasn't always like that. I felt like if I knew I was doing right, it didn't matter what you think. But let me ask you something. What made you a wife? Because remember, you were a wife before November the 26th. What makes you a wife? And what made you a wife?
What made me a wife? For me, I'm not saying something, make it sound bad. So for me, and this is just, we're pretty open and honest with this. We're being transparent on this.
Yeah.
So for me, I got married at a young age. I got married at 20 years old. And my husband was a lot older than me, but it was the fact of everything I learned from that marriage. Now, granted, it didn't end the best way, you know what I mean? But I knew how to be a wife, and I learned all that from watching my mom and knowing what you're supposed to do as a wife.
Shout out to Miss Jennifer Alcorn. Mother, come on. Oh, give my mother-in-law some love, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby. I just had to stop by and give mama some love.
But watching my mom and watching how her and my dad interacted, and it was so much love. And I think I've said, I don't know how many times on maybe when we went live or things like that, or especially in our vows, the love that Corey gives me was a love that I saw growing up. Cool. And it was a love that I didn't think I would ever be worthy of or ever find until he came along. And that's where it was an aha moment for me, because even down to the fact that we prayed. My main thing was that even as a teenager, I was praying for my husband. And I wanted somebody who's going to pray with me. I wanted somebody who, if yesterday I was sick in the hospital, I want the man that's going to be right there. Do I want the man that's going to be, all right, let me go to the job and let me go do all this overtime to make sure we can pay for these bills? Or do I want the man that's going to be right there by my bedside praying and seeking God and believing that God is not only going to get me up out this bed, heal me completely, but also make a way to where, guess what? We ain't got to worry about these bills, because guess what? It's going to be paid for. That's the man that I want. And Corey showed that quickly, even down to the day you met my parents, where I love the fact that my dad, and I know he'll touch on that, but some things that my dad said when he did finally meet Corey, and the way he met Corey was in the midst of our accident. We got in a car accident.
The day after my birthday.
The day after his birthday.
Here, going to see her parents.
And we were heading to church. We were 5 minutes.
5 minutes from church.
5 minutes from our destination. And mind you, before we even left, we prayed. And that's one thing that I love the most with Corey.
He was in praise and worship when we got hit.
We were in worship. We were jamming Fred Hammond. We were in worship. I think you even have a video where you recorded me even before, I think it was like minutes before the accident.
Right.
And you're recording me and we're in worship. And then just out of nowhere, we just, we just went flying. And it was enough time for us to stop and look at each other like, did we just get hit? And we just landed. And immediately Corey jumped into action. Like as soon as we looked at each other, knew we were okay, he took off running. And for whatever reason, I have my dress and my tennis shoes on that day. So I'm running after him. And I look to the left and I see a fire. I mean, for those of you who know us, that know the story, that have seen the pictures, it was a whole panic moment. A whole panic moment. And the moment when my heart was racing and I thought I was going to pass out. All of a sudden, here comes Corey. He grabbed me. He's like, breathe, it's going to be okay. And at that moment, I knew, okay, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You can calm down. And so when we did make the call to my parents and finally got a hold of them, it's the fact that the only reason why we called them was because we needed them to come and pick us up. Of course, it was like a panic and my dad's hearing that. But to know that Corey was there, and that once they pulled up, Corey's in action, telling this and talking to the police and doing this. He's in action. Like, he's trying to make sure everything is good and making sure, number one, I'm okay. And that's the main thing that he did.
Yeah, that was a very scary moment. And, but you held your own. You was a soldier. Because the reason I say that, because most women initially, when something like that happened, bust out crying. They just so frantic and and you, even in your moment of, you were still on the phone, you was making a call to the agents, you was reporting on the insurance, you was getting all the information, getting stuff done. And that don't usually happen. Sometimes women are just like, oh my God, and which I can get it, because we just flew half across, flew 5 yards across when we were hit. And now the fire's going, we got the car on the other side. Traffic. And then they rolled out them. It just got really crazy. It was a lot happening.
It went from just us two to 50 people and all these cars.
But you held your own. You was gangster. You know
why?
You didn't shut down.
You know why?
Why?
Because I had you.
Come on. Put that thing together. Come on now, Lord.
Can I ask you a question?
What's that? You want to ask? Go on. Hit me with it.
So, when you did finally meet my parents, did you already have an idea of what you were going to say?
So, did I have something I was going to say? To be honest, yay and nay. Because remind you, up until this point, I heard you and your mom on the phone a lot. And, we had those interactions. Yeah. So I kind of knew what our energy was. Now it was kind of seeing what your father was going to be face to face. Because at this point, I'd already met your brother.
Yes, you did.
We had our conversations. You know what I mean? And I knew that your love for those two men were through the roof. And your admiration and respect for them. So I knew I needed this to go good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I knew that this needed to be a part of where we were going in our journey. That they were going to support what was about to happen, especially at the pace it was happening. So going down and putting on my mind was being very transparent, being honest about who I was, but also just kind of feeling the room, see what conversations need to come up, what could wait after they got to meet me a little bit more. But I knew whatever happened that day, it had to happen in the form of getting your dad's approval, because I didn't know the next time I would see him face to face. And I didn't want to do it on the phone. I didn't want to do it through text message. I don't want to do it nothing. I wanted to do it with him looking me dead in my eyes and saying, this is what I think about it. So when we went to lunch and all that, we talked and everything, and your father, and this is what I knew. The moment he said, I can say this. And I can say I honestly feel comfortable with my daughter being with you. With her being safe. So once he said that, I kind of like, okay, all right, now it's time to. It's time to.
That was a big, even now, just, we're already married, but that makes my eyes water, because that was just,
Yeah.
That was the best. I never heard my dad say that to, anybody I was in a relationship with. Then after, being married and my marriage being the way it was, so another story, to have my dad say that he was comfortable, to have my brother say that he was comfortable, to have my best friend, shout out to Karina, say that she was comfortable.
Yeah.
Those top people. My mom loves everybody, she goes speak her mind, but my mom's more of the,
No, but I changed mama's view. Because mama,
yes.
what did mama think about dark skin dude?
Yeah, she did.
Mama wasn't team dark skin at first.
She
was like, I don't know. You Negroes kind of crazy.
And that's the sad part, because that comes from different stereotypes that she heard growing up, that basically and things that she saw was, that darker men were women beaters.
You got my food ready. You done lost your mind. Why my food ain't ready? Yeah, but the thing is, she brought it to our attention. She like, you changed my mind because I was not team dark skin.
Yeah. When she told me, I done fell in love with this little chocolate man.
Yeah.
She's like, I fall in love with this little chocolate man all over again. And I'm like, well, imagine how I feel. And that was so big to me, y'all. Like, to know that my friends and especially my family, my dad's my first love, my brother is my first best friend. And of course, they've been with me through everything. So having their approval was huge.
And that's key, because people understand this. They've been through the part where my wife was when it was very traumatic, when it was very bad. So now coming from that, and this guy is saying, yo, I got her at such a very short time. It's like, man, that's a lot of belief and faith, because, I don't know, man, because we just went through some stuff. And then you tell him you want to take my sister, you want to take my daughter. And this is how we know, this is how I know her daddy was for real about what he's saying. Because and this is why she's, team iPhone now. That was a wreck that happened. And the wheel flew off a car and hit her. So she pulls on the side of 75, y'all. And anybody in the DFW area knows 75 at night or certain times of the day, busy. Well, she was actually at the time, because where she was commuting from, was up.
Mind you, it's late at night.
It's late at night. It's like 12.
It's like 12.
And
on a Friday.
She's coming, and then she stopped, because she stopped at Karina's. That's when you got the pot.
Yes, it was on a Friday night.
So it was a big accident that happened. Well, in the midst of it, the wheel flew off and it hits her. So when she hits me about it. She's panicked. My cousin was here at the time, and so we jumped in the car and we were going. And I said, "Hey, I need to get your location because I don't know exactly where you're at." So she sends from anybody on Snapchat. She sends me this Snapchat location drop. Because she was in Android. So when I get it, I'm like, what is this? She said, that's where I am. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. This was a picture. Snapchat sent me a location of her as a cartoon person on top of a diesel during the daytime. Mind y'all, it's 12 midnight. The Snapchat that comes to me is light. It's daytime with her on top of a diesel. I said, where is this going to be? She says, where I am. No, it ain't. It's daytime. This night. So, y'all, we kind of approximate things, see the wreck. We finally hit a U-turn, get back over there, and we pull by this hotel. Well, I come over the bridge, with the overpass. Where she's going.
Based off my good directions. Don't try and play me.
Our approximate location. I had to do 32-degree latitude, longitude, 4265. We get there, and I realize I'm gonna have to jump down onto the road. So my cousin looks at me like, you really finna jump? I'm like, I ain't got no choice. Like I see her on the other side, but I gotta get to her, right? So when I jump, I hear my cousin scream, man, be careful.
Now, mind y'all, I'm not seeing all this. I'm on the phone with my best friend, Karina, like trying not to panic. Because this is after our last accident. So in my mind, somebody's going to come and hit the car. I'm off to the side. Cars are flying past me. So I need y'all to understand my anxiety level. So that picture he got was as good as it was going to get at that moment.
Right. And my cousin was just full of anxiety too, because he's like, man, and I had slides on, y'all. So I gun across 75. I'm running. She don't even see me. She know it. I'm at the back of the car like, doop, doop, doop. Hey.
All I see is this like big black figure coming towards me like this. And I was like, friend, I think Corey's here. I gotta go.
So I get her and I'm looking at the car and there's some damage in the front and stuff. And I'm like, so I put things back together and I'm like, we gotta get off this freeway. And so we go to get off so we could check the car, you know what I'm saying, to make sure it's in driving condition or we're going to get it towed. So we pull over, everything. Now, mind y'all, in the midst of this, while we over, 2 other accidents happened. So there's like ambulance and fire trucks all up and down 75.
A lot happening.
So to get to us, when they got to us, it was funny. They got to us. So in the midst, all right, so up to the point of what I'm saying. So we call up folks. I'm calling them, letting them know, what happened, because I don't know what we about to have to do. So they get on the phone. They like, oh my God, y'all accident? And they're like, yeah. So then they're like, well, how's she doing? And I think you talked to him for a second, right? No,
you talked to him the whole time. They didn't talk to me. That's
so I explained everything going on. So Daddy goes, well, you there. So I'm going to go back to sleep.
I was like, you just want to talk to me? Like, they don't want to check and make sure like I'm okay.
Yeah, but that let me know, man. He gave me full trust and belief that I was going to protect and take care of his daughter, because he was like, hey, well, so you say she good? I'm going to sleep. And then the fire, like the service people for the fire truck, they come up and they're questioning. So when they evaluate everything, it's like, so y'all good. You don't need no ambulance.
So you were in there?
Yeah, so we broke it. So then he goes, listen, we gonna go back down here. They're going to call. Can y'all just tell them we came already?
Can y'all just tell them?
So we don't have to come back. So that was a very funny night.
That night. I mean, once you came along, yes, it was funny. But up until that
looking
point,
back on it, it's funny. It wasn't funny.
Now, yeah, I mean, y'all had to see the way he was running, because he had to run back across the street.
Because I had the keys. I forgot. I still had the keys to the car. So I had to fly back in slides across the highway to give my cousin the keys. And here's the crazy part. So my cousin, y'all, doesn't keep his phone on for nothing. But I'm thinking in my head, we together. So this is a very dire situation. Now we gonna have to travel, because remember, I can't get back up here because I done jumped down. But I threw him the keys up. I said, hey, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get back in the car. I'm gonna drive so we can get over to this little stop area over here after I exit off where we can check the car. He said, cool. I said, bam. I said, I'm gonna call you, let's show where I pulled off at. Y'all, I get in the car. As soon as I get in the car, I go to call him. Phone goes straight to voicemail.
Straight to voicemail.
He gets up to us. I said, hey, man, I was trying to call you. Man, I forgot all about that. Yeah, my cousin didn't even cut his phone back on.
Didn't even cut it back on. We were just out there riding on a prayer.
On a prayer.
But we made it. And that right there lets me know, I knew my parents had fully knew, okay, this guy's a real deal. This guy's a real deal. Because you were so sure. I can say that much. Even in the time of meeting me, you were so sure.
Yeah. After you told me all I needed to know, I was done. I didn't need nothing else. I was there. Ready.
George.
It ain't happen. Stop it.
You ready to sit down?
Sit down. Yeah. When I got back from LA, man, I knew it, y'all. I was in a different space. I no longer, you know what I'm saying? Like, the companionship of women then, when I got back, had nothing to do with sex. So I knew then I was ready to sit down, because what I was doing really didn't involve me having to try to figure out how to have sex with these women. It was more like, I just want somebody to chill with, watch TV with, we eat some meals and stuff. It's like, I'm gonna do all that. I might well sit down. So I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I was like, hey. I told her the first day, I said, hey, I'm not finna be sending a bunch of messages back and forth. You want to do this happen? Here's my number. Call me. Then I told her, I said, well, now you done called me. You got to FaceTime me. I want to see you.
He almost got dropped because I knew he was like a comedian. And so he would be on FaceTime with me, y'all. And all of a sudden the phone would just hit his face. So I'm like, okay, the first couple times it's funny.
You sleep.
No, didn't even know the whole time, y'all. He is asleep.
You know the thing, you sleep. I'm not asleep. You sleep?
I'm not asleep. I don't know if I got to do it.
Everybody know me. You could be in a full-fledged conversation with me. My body shut down. It's gone. You look back and I'll be like this.
Yeah. At that point, I kind of caught on to it, y'all. But we did that for what? Maybe 2 days? 3? Yeah. Like, after that, we were all...
You want me to go sleep, you want to come over and see me. And I stay up. I didn't stay up then.
No. Right. I think when we watched Love and Drugs too.
I was out of there.
You slept through your own movie. You're like, I done seen it like 100 times.
Yeah, it's over at this point.
Which now I get after, going to the Love and Drugs 3. After how many times I've seen it so far, I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Yeah, they would drop it. Hint, hint, drop it. Yeah. But no, all that was really, really cool. But for the most part, yeah, it's been a great journey. It's been a great time for us because we right now in our development stage. That's what we do. Unless we go into events or different things like that or invited to certain things, we just sit at the house and really work on us. Like, so at the house we have like 2 separate rooms. And so what we'll do is we'll do our own thing for a while, then we'll get together, we'll converse, we'll talk, we'll love on each other, we'll have conversations about something, then we'll go back, and do our thing again, and then we'll come back. You know what I mean? And it's been a routine that we've been really, 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 really cool with. And it's a real cool thing because, when I get out and I go and I grind my butt off, and I come back, I'm really excited to walk in the house because it's so much peace in it. You know what I mean? And I always do my reevaluations on Facebook, but what I want people to know is it's really what it is. Like, she gives a sense of peace around this house, the way she prays for it, the way she's in it, the way she takes care of it, the way she takes care of me in it. You know what I mean? So every day I can get up to the max, Sometimes I'll lie to her, be like, yo, I'm gonna sleep in today with you. And, but I can't because the thing about it is why I choose not to sleep in like that. One, I'm not built like that. I can't sleep in. If I make it past 8:00, man, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I think you made it 8:30.
8:30. 8:30. You was proud of me?
I was proud of you.
Come on.
I was proud.
8:30. But it's because, man, this lady right here is entrusting so much in me. So with that, I have to come through with every promise I've made to give her the life that she deserves, the life she's going to have, the life I'm going to give her, And that's because at home, I have the life that I dream of. And that's peace, that's enjoyment, that's love, that's respect. I was telling people. But all those things are compounded into making me be the type of man that's working my butt to try to make sure that she has the life that she's been dreaming about, and we talk about things, especially going into the market and wanting to buy a house, of what that thing will be like, so that's my whole goal behind it. You know what I mean? Because, it's reciprocated. She does all her wifely things, so I'm going to do all my husbandly things. And together we're going to just do the marriage thing.
Me and you.
You and me.
We got this.
We got this.
We got this, y'all. So, I would not trade you for anything. You know that?
Come on.
I wouldn't.
Come on.
I'd do it all over again.
Right. So, what will be the moral of the story here?
Moral of the story? Take a leap of faith when it comes to love. But check with God first. Check with God and your own spirit. But listen, like I had to hear him say, yep, it's okay. Keep going. Keep going. So take a leap of faith.
Cool. For me, it's embracing that leap. It's the vetting process. It's the understanding what it takes process. It's the development. It's the constant adjustments. It's the thing that happens that make you go, this is why I did this. And to wake up daily and perform that is where we are planning to be. And it hadn't been easy. Like you said, we went through a lot. But what it has been, it's been real. It's been honest. It's been us. God has definitely showed us some things, and we've taken notes, and we've applied it, and we've worked on it. We've prayed on it. We steady apply it. We steady work on it. We steady adjust to it. We steady sharpen our skills, our understanding, our comprehension. Y'all gonna hear me say that a lot because these are the things that we're fine tuning within our playbook to get out there and perform every day in this life game, this thing called the game of life. And now that we're joined as one, we're assessing it because in what we're doing is to get to the side that we want to be in. We can say, job well done right here before we go there. Come on, somebody. And that's what we're going to leave that at right there. You want to take us home?
I love you.
You love me?
Yeah.
I love you. So until next time, y'all, we thank y'all for joining us on another episode of My Wife and I, with my wife and I. And stay tuned, because we're going to start bringing these guests in and you'll start seeing us, man. I think we got the bro coming through, and we're going to talk about his new movie. We're going to talk about his life, his relationship, and what he's planning to do, fatherhood and fellowship, and that's going to be a great thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
So until next time, we'll see you good people around, all right?